My job profile actually is IBD. It's the investment banking division of HSBC. Now it's renamed into Strategic Transactions Group. So I was the investment banking intern there, and so there are different sorts of teams on the floor, and we had sector teams and product teams. So with sector teams, we had corporate sector groups and financial institutions group. So they basically focus on specific sectors. When it came to product teams like ours, we used to focus on the products offered by the HSBC STG group. So the products would actually include capital financing sort of products. So in my case, it was infrastructure finance. So as part of that profile, what we did was that we would actually just actually prepare financial models and all, and we just audit them so as to make sure that everything is in the right form and everything, and like what the deal is going to be like, how much of debt and equity would there be in a particular deal. So other than that, we used to work on proposals, and so most of them they were regarding M&A also. Okay, so when you talk of work experience, it was very good, and I would love to go back. And other than that, this mentors over there, they were very helping. And the thing about working in a large setup as HSBC is that you are never burdened with work, in the sense that even if you are, a senior would always be there to guide you. And there was immense learning from the point of view, because like I have always been very passionate about finance, right? So I think it was my best work experience. I would rate it over my 2 year work experience with an earlier firm, and the reason being that you just get to learn a lot of stuff. So basically, I also gave CFA level 1 recently in June, so I could actually apply those concepts in my work also. So that sort of made me feel that yeah, I'm like doing the right thing. Again, going to talk about the interview experience, I think it was the toughest interview I've had. So in our case, what they did was that earlier there was a profile short listing. So in that case, what happened was, probably out of a lot of, I think, 120, 140 students, they shortlisted initial 25, 30. I don't know on what criteria, and a lot of them were non-engineers, to be honest. And out of those 30 people, I guess, we had GDs. So there were three groups, and we had group discussions, and the topic also were very intellectual, sort of not like where you can just create a fish market and stuff. And after that, when I talk of interviews, there were two round of interviews, and both of them were taken by one AD, as in one AD took one of the rounds, and the next round, if you proceed to the next round, then the other AD talked to you, talking about why it was very difficult and stringent, because they didn't really focus much about my past work experience. What they were interested to know was that what my current level of knowledge was. So we were actually made to do some hands-on exercise also. So for example, he actually gave me a question to solve in the interview itself. And other than that, he asked me some basic questions regarding my previous work, which are very typical. And when I talk of the second interview, it was more on the lines of why I wanted IB, and which sector I was interested in. And if not that, then this AD, he actually asked me about like one of the questions that I can still remember is that what does the balance sheet of a particular bank look like? Because if you are from a finance background, even if you are not, like probably in your first term also, you would have studied FRA, so you would know that certain companies have specific balance sheets, like manufacturing concerns and all, while if we talk of banks and all, they have totally different balance sheets, because the assets in their case would be your loans, the loans that you make out to different entities and different individuals. Whereas if I talk of your liabilities, they'll be the deposits, so customer deposits and all. So the function, the way they behave, how they record their income. For example, other cases you have EBITDA, EBIT, and all those things. Where when we talk of banks, I think one of the most important metric is NII, net interest income. So that's how it was different, the experience itself, and also it was like half an hour each of the interviews. So I think I've already told this to a lot of juniors already. So one thing would be that you should just brush up your FRA totally, like you should know inside out. Again, those three financial statements that you have: cash flow statement, balance sheet, and profit and loss account. you should know in and out of that. Okay? And other than that, you should know your there are certain financial ratios and all you must be knowing. I think debt equity ratio and stuff like that, those also you should know. So what I would say is just focus on FRA a lot if you're really targeting a finance profile. If you're talking, because there are going to be a lot of companies and good companies, there are going to be a lot of consulting concerns also. Probably they won't I would say focus on finance part of it that much. But if you are really targeting a finance profile, then you should be well versed with FRA, one thing. Secondly, to take care of the economics, if you are from a non-finance and non-economics background, you should regularly read Economic Times or HT Mint. That's it. I think that should do, because they are not really looking into your, like, they don't expect you to know deep finance concepts as of now, that even we are learning. GDs again, read Economic Times, because I would say again, I actually got placed really early in the placement week. So the summer placements, if you know, they carry on for some time. Okay, so I got placed really early, so I don't have that much GD experience, to be honest. But I still was part of, I think, three GDs. One was, I think, D Shaw, one HSBC, and one KPMG. So what I realized, and what after having talked to my friends in marketing, what I realized in marketing, you can be given very generic GDs also, where you can just talk on and on about like a single point also, and you don't really, obviously you need to know concepts, the facts do help you, but when we come to finance, you really have to talk sense. It doesn't matter if you talk one, and that's my experience. It doesn't matter if you say just one point during the entire GD, but if it's a relevant point, you'll get through for sure. So I made, I think, two out of those three GDs, and so two I made the cut because first thing would be just look for the right opportunity where you can just come into the GD, because there are going to be times when people won't let you enter. But just try and get into the GD whenever you see an opening. If not, most of the companies, what they do is that if they notice that you haven't participated that much in the GD, they would actually give you an opportunity to summarize the GD. So what you can do is you can just say a couple of points that you had in your mind, and then you can just summarize the entire thing. So I think that will seal the deal. All the best, do really well, and I hope to see. First, I need to crack my interview, and then I hope to see some of you joining HSBC.